Wednesday Show. Wednesday Show. Maybe. Maybe not. I don't know. I don't know if you can hear me or if you're even there. I don't know if you would listen to the Brent Dodge here. Yes, it's time for Wednesday. We're going to continue our bracket series. And if the one you want to win loses, you'll be in a fury. Come join us Wednesday. That's what you do. And if you don't like it, well, sneeze at you. How's everyone doing? We got a few people who are lingering in the chat room right now, and hopefully they don't linger very much longer because tonight's episode depends on your votes. So make sure you guys are active in the chat room. Hello, Frank fam. How you guys doing today? How was the Epcot prom? That's just so cool to have a prom at Epcot. I would have gone to a lot more of my high school dances if they were at a Disney park. Just saying. So today what we're going to do is we're going to continue our bracket series. We're getting closer and closer to the end, and I have an idea of how we're going to do this thing, but we're going to obviously go to you guys. So you guys are going to be helping make decisions tonight on what's going to be moved on and what will fall by the wayside. We are currently going into our Elite 8. We are going from Sweet 16 into the Elite 8 right now. We have 4 things that have been decided. We have 4 more to get into the Sweet 16 or to the Elite 8, and then we'll go through them. Had a good time. Mickey and Minnie stopped by. Are you kidding me? My prom was at a zoo. And we even have a monkey stop by, so that's just wrong. Oh, wait. So we still have no one else is Frank fam. You might be deciding the rest of the votes tonight on what wins this entire tournament here, because it shows on my side that we do have people watching on Facebook and on YouTube right now, but no one else is interacting. So who knows? You guys just could be the deciding factor tonight. So let's get this party started. We are going to start the 817th episode of the Wednesday Show in 5, 4, 3, 2. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 817th episode of the Wednesday Show. Today is April 16th, 2025, and I'm your host, as always, Brent Dodge. Hello. Today we're going to be continuing our Disney bracket series to figure out what you think is the greatest Disney soundtrack of all time. But of course, before we get to that, let's talk about our news for the week. First off, thank you for everyone out there who's been joining us for our Saturday in the Park. If you didn't already know, every single Saturday we do a live broadcast from someplace found throughout the Walt Disney World Resort. You never know where we're going to be coming to you from, but I promise you we will always be coming to you live from Disney. So make sure you join us every single Saturday at 1 o'clock Eastern Time over on my YouTube channel to join in the fun. Speaking of YouTube, while we are on the topic, we are currently sitting at 8,507 subscribers. If we go into more subscribers as the evening goes on, we will go into extra innings as well. So send a friend or 2 or 3 over. It'd be cool if we ended up at 8,510. It'd be even cooler if we ended up at 10,000. So just, send over 1,493 people, and we're there. So thank you everyone out there who has subscribed. I do appreciate every single one of you. And if you did not know, we have a book. A closer look at the Animal Kingdom's Dinoland USA is now available in both book format along with in Kindle format. You can go over to Amazon to purchase on Kindle. You can go to my Etsy to purchase the physical copy of the book. It is almost 100 and some pages. How long is this book? 163 pages of pure Disney fun. Taking a look at the secrets, the fun finds, the details, the history, and so much more, all about Dino Land USA. Get it before the land's extinct. And also, as always, tonight's episode is sponsored by the one, the only, the super amazing Patreon pals. If you're one of our Patreon pals out in the chat room right now, I don't even know what that one was. Give us an ooh yeah. All right. So we do have a lot of people who are watching, but not a lot of people who are interacting in the chat room. So I'm hoping that when we actually start doing the votes, people will start talking and not just sit back and relax and just kind of ignore the whole thing, because your vote does help propel your potential favorite Disney soundtrack of all time into the final rounds. We are continuing our bracket series here. We are currently in the Sweet 16, trying to get into the Elite 8, and then most likely tonight we will be going from the Elite 8 into the Final 4, and then possibly Final 4 to the Final 2, and then we might do a special episode with the Final 2 next week. So we'll see how everything plays out here. So send some friends over if you want to have it so your thing moves on to the next round. Otherwise, let your favorite things fall by the wayside and potentially never live to see another day. Okay, we still have 8 different things left for you guys to choose from. So if you guys have joined us before, the first 2 people who are going to type into the comment a number between 1 and 8, those 2 will be going on randomly head to head against one another. So I need 2 numbers from you guys between 1 and 8. The first 2 numbers to pop up will be moving on to our first battle of the evening. Number 3 and number 6 are the first 2 that popped up. 3 and 6 will be going head to head in our first round here. Oh, whoa. Uh-oh. Wait a minute. Okay. Also, I had the document open, but I didn't have the my computer went through and did a giant reboot the other day, last night, maybe even. Oh, I misspelled that word. And so because of that, it just popped up and I was like, this file was saved, but it's not, you can't edit it. And I had to, switch all that stuff up. Okay, so that's completely besides the point. Okay, so our first matchup of the evening is going to actually have one song that's the same. This is kind of a weird situation that we got going on here, but let's go through it. Okay, let's start us off with the one, the only, the attraction that opened up back in October of 2003, Mickey's PhilharMagic. Now, we've talked about the soundtrack of Mickey's PhilharMagic in past weeks when we have done the bracket series, but I think it's important that we go through and talk about it a little bit again, because that's just how we work. Now, the way that Mickey's PhilharMagic soundtrack works, it is not a unique soundtrack made specifically for the attraction, but instead it is a soundtrack that is created specifically of different soundtrack pieces, which makes it one of the more unique things that is on this list. However, at the same time, the music helps propel you through the story. So for those of you who do not remember Mickey's PhilharMagic, these are the different soundtracks that we're going to go through and witness while we go through a world storm of trips with Donald. That none of that made sense, but maybe it all made perfect sense at the same time. So Mickey's PhilharMagic consists of a soundtrack of Guest from Beauty and the Beast. We also have the Sorcerer's Apprentice from Fantasia. Part of Your World from Little Mermaid, followed by I Just Can't Wait to Be King, and then Un Poco Loco from Coco, You Can Fly, You Can Fly, You Can Fly from Peter Pan, and finally A Whole New World from Aladdin. Overall, the soundtrack for Mickey's PhilharMagic is amazing. It's a great soundtrack altogether. However, going up against it is a different soundtrack that took the world by storm. In fact, this soundtrack that it's going against is an Academy Award winner for one of the songs, and actually one of the songs is also found in Mickey's PhilharMagic. That is, of course, the one, the only. Look at this stuff. Isn't it neat? Wouldn't you think my collection's complete? That's right, The Little Mermaid. The Little Mermaid is filled with so many classic songs that we just all know and love to this day. We have things like Part of Your World, Poor Unfortunate Souls, Kiss the Girl, and of course, Under the Sea. under the sea. Darling, it's better down where it's wetter. Take it from me. So it's time for the first vote today, and you can go and say if you want Mickey's PhilharMagic or the Little Mermaid. You guys have about 90 seconds to throw your first vote in. Your votes are between Mickey's PhilharMagic or the Little Mermaid. Which soundtrack would you like to move on to the next round here? Now, obviously, both of these are great soundtracks. I think I know which one's going to win, and it's the same one that I would personally vote for. So we will see what you guys throw through this one. I mean, it's kind of like if Mickey's PhilharMagic wins, it kind of stole the competition's thing, but at the same time, it stole one song from that, and stole another song from Aladdin, and stole another one from Peter Pan, from Little, etc., etc., etc. Okay, we got a lot of votes coming in right now. Looks like it's almost a runaway. We do have one vote for one thing, but we'll give you guys another 30 seconds to throw in your votes. So if you guys are one of those people out there who is watching, has not voted yet, make sure you throw your votes into the comments. You still have about 25 seconds left to vote. By the way, as we get closer and closer to the finale here, things are going to get difficult. Like, things are going to get really difficult. If you remember, on the first day that we did the soundtrack thing, I did write my prediction. It's right here. It's been folded up since we did it, but it's still sitting right there. Also, look at that beautiful watch stand. The phone, the watch is charging me out. But the thing that's in there, if I remember correctly, it is still alive in the competition. Okay, our voting time is up. Let's see what you voted for. We got 1 for Little Mermaid, 2 for Little Mermaid, 3 for Little Mermaid, 4 for Little Mermaid, 5 for Little Mermaid, 6 for Little Mermaid, 1 for Mickey's PhilharMagic, 7-1, 8-1, and we are having the Little Mermaid moving on to a whole new world of possibilities as it moves on to the Elite Eight. And that brings us to you guys. What numbers would you like to have move on to our next competition? I need 2 numbers out there from you guys between the numbers of 1 and 6. First 2 to pop up in the chat room will be going head to head against one another. 1 through 6. We are getting down to the nitty gritty here. No one's throwing. People are willing to vote for Little Mermaid, but they're not willing to throw a number between 1 and 6 in. 1 and 6, first 2 to pop up will be going head to head. Number 1 against number. Well, we got one of the numbers. We just don't know what's going to go up against. Number 1 against number. I need another number between. Okay, there you go. 1 and 6 are going to be the 2 numbers that are going to be going head to head against one another in this next round here. Oh. So, oh man, this is I know what's gonna go. I know what's moving forward, and I know what's staying behind. So let's just get this vote over with. Back in the late 1980s, we got The Little Mermaid. Changed the world forever. It changed the amazing points and amazing things that everyone just kind of absolutely falls in love with. And just found your channel 20 minutes ago. Thank you for making short videos that get straight to the point and aren't clickable. Especially them. Yeah, no problem. So Little Mermaid was one of those things that came out in the 1980s that took the world by storm. Everyone personally fell in love with it. I personally fell in love with it. But also something else happened in the late 1980s that also took the world by storm. I personally fell in love with it. Eric personally fell in love with it. And a big portion of it just kind of hangs out in the back area here. Boom, bum, boom, bum, boom, ba-dum, ba-dum. Life is like a hurricane here in Duckburg. Race cars, lasers, airplanes. It's a duck blur. Might solve a mystery or rewrite history. DuckTales, woohoo. DuckTales was a staple of the late 1980s and early 1990s for so many people, and it also inspired a reboot back in the 2010s. I'm going to say the I don't even know what I'm talking about. In the 2010s, we got another DuckTales series, but the DuckTales soundtrack has a lot of great instrumentals and, of course, one of the catchiest theme songs of all time. DuckTales, woohoo, I absolutely love it, and so do you. But going up against DuckTales is something that is completely based on music, obviously, because everything that we're talking about tonight is soundtracks. So going up against DuckTales is a leading example of what Pixar can do extremely well. If you look at the history of Pixar and you look at things like Toy Story, you've got a friend in me, and then eventually you get into it's the time of your life, so live it well. That's A Bug's Life. But we didn't really have a Pixar musical until about 10 years ago, when an entire movie was themed around the idea of music and family and shoes, ironically enough. Of course, we were talking about Coco. Well, Coco is a classic Pixar film. And in Coco, we have a lot of extremely catchy songs, including Un Poco Loco, which was in Mickey's Philharmonic, which we just talked about a few minutes ago. And of course, the sob story of Remember Me. Though I hate to say goodbye, it is time for ye to vote inside the chat. You can vote for DuckTales or Coco, but not both. The one that wins this round here moves on. I don't know how to end that. That's our next vote is either DuckTales soundtrack or the Coco soundtrack. You've got 90 seconds to throw your votes in, starting right now. This, I think, is a very tough one. I personally love DuckTales, but Coco is yeah. I love DuckTales. DuckTales, woohoo. This is actually, I'm looking at the chat room right now, and this is a closer vote than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be just like a runaway for Coco, but it might not be. Oh my gosh. This is going to be a tough one. All right, we still have a few people who are out there who are watching but not voting. If you were one of those people who was watching but not voting, well, I suggest that you vote for either DuckTales or Coco, because your vote looks like it may really be the deciding factor. So if you don't, we've got 30 seconds left to vote. Until you're in my arms again, remember me. I can still remember the first time I went to see Coco in the theater. It was like it kind of blew me away by how much I really enjoyed it, because I went into it thinking like, I'm not really sure what this movie is going to be like, and I was like, oh, that was an amazing movie. But at the same time, I still remember like 1991 and going to see DuckTales the movie in theaters for the first time. That was a good day. It's a really good day. I vividly remember. I remember the DuckTales logo being there, and then Launchpad flies the plane by, and then they crash. Oh, it's such a good thing. Okay, anyways, we've got about 10 seconds left to vote. Actually, we're way past 10 seconds. Let's do our tally here. Okay, we got DuckTales. I'm okay with Coco winning, but I am dying on the DuckTales. Okay, so 2-0, 2-1, 2-2. Right now it is tied. 3-2, DuckTales takes the lead. 3-3, Coco has tied it up. 4-3, Coco barely pulls off the win. And we got like 7 people who are watching but not voting. So if you're one of those people who's watching and not voting, shame on you. Because DuckTales may have lived to see another day, but not because you're lax of votes. Okay, let's go on to our next round here. I need 2 numbers from you guys between the numbers of 1 and 4. This is going to also determine what our next 2 rounds are going to be. So 1 through 4, and then obviously the leftover 2 will be going up head to head against one another. Until you're in my arms again. All right, 4 against 2, which means that 1 against 3 will be moving on here. So 4 against 2. Let's type these up real quick. Oh. And then, oh, this is going to be Okay, 4 against 2. Let's start off with 4 against 2, and then we're going to move on to a 1 against 3. This is like a classic old movie against a newer movie, and then ironically enough, 1 against 3 is also a classic old movie against a newer movie. So let's start off with 4 against 2. The second star to the right shines in the night for you. And if it's Neverland you dream. Oh, wait. Peter Pan is one of those classic films. It is one of my favorite, if not my favorite, Disney animated film. It just is filled with so much whimsy, so much love, so much amazing adventures. Like, you can fly, you can fly, you can fly. And obviously, it has some amazing songs as well. Some of the songs that people forget about are things like, we're following the leader, the leader, the leader. We're following the leader wherever he may go. T-dum, T-D. So, in addition to that, obviously, we've got the second star to the right. You can fly, you can fly, you can fly. And then, of course, even songs like Never Smile at the Crocodile, which was cut from the film, but at the same time, the instrumentals are still in it. And if you ever got the DVD, then you can also watch the original scene with Never Smile at the Crocodile. Going up against Peter Pan is another newer-ish modern classic. And it also features some of the best songs that Disney has ever created. Let's just get it started. The evening star is shining bright, so make a wish and hold on tight. There's magic in the air tonight, and anything can happen. Princess and the Frog. Princess and the Frog is a musical from start to end. We've got things like When We're Human, As I Hope to Be, and things like You Gotta Dig a Little Deeper, Find Out Who You Are, and of course, And I'm Almost There. Almost there. Some people think I'm crazy, but I don't care. So, that's going to bring us to 2 films that ironically revolve around stars, the second star to the right and the wishing star. Which one do you want to have move on to the next round? Is it Peter Pan soundtrack or the Princess and the Frog soundtrack? Remember, we were voting on the soundtrack, not the movies. You have about 90 seconds to throw your votes in, starting right now. Oh, these are both really good soundtracks. I know which one I'm going to vote for if it comes down to a tiebreaker, but at the same time, yeah. I think both soundtracks are great. I do think that one of the soundtracks is a little bit better than the other soundtrack, personally. For those of you guys who aren't on Facebook right now, this is Eric's. The Princess and the Frog is the greatest soundtrack in Disney history. I said what I said, which means that there is a pretty high chance that Eric is hoping that Princess and the Frog goes all the way. He's probably also hoping that this envelope right back here is Princess and the Frog as well. I'm not going to say if it is or not, but it might be. It might not be. You guys have about 30 seconds left to throw your votes in, so keep on throwing the votes down. And then after that, we're going to go to directly into our next vote because we already know what the 2 are going to be. Okay, you got 10 more seconds here. The second star to the right shines in the night for you. And now it's time for you to see what moves on right now. I always love when I see people logging on when I'm singing. I'm like, oh, we lost people forever. Okay, we got 1 vote for Peter Pan, 2 votes for Peter Pan, 1 vote for Princess and the Frog. Right now it is 2-1 vote with Princess and the Frog not the lead. Now it's tied up. Princess and the Frog against Peter Pan. And then obviously Eric is voting for Princess and the Frog. That is a 3-2 vote. 4-2 vote. 5-2 vote. Princess of the Frog, but honorable mention to Peter Pan soundtrack. 5-3, 5-4. We barely have Princess and the Frog pulling ahead, but let's just double check here just to make sure. 1-2, 2-1, 2-2, 2-3 with Princess of the Frog, 4-2, Princess the Frog. 5-2, 5-3, 5-4. Princess and the Frog barely pulls out the win. That was a lot closer than I thought it was going to be. I honestly thought Princess and the Frog was going to run away with it. Hop away with it? What would you say with the frog? Princess and the Frog. Okay. And that brings us to our final matchup to get into the Elite Eight. Again, we've got a classic Disney film going up against a more modern Disney film. Let's start off, once again, with the more classic of the Disney films. When You Wish Upon a Star. That's right. When You Wish Upon a Star from Pinocchio. Pinocchio is one of those classic films from start to finish. It has so many amazing songs in there. Of course, the one being the Disney anthem of them all, When You Wish Upon a Star. It sums up the entire Disney image. It sums up a way that you should just kind of live your life. But then, of course, we also have other ways that you should live your life, like There Are No Strings on Me. I got no strings to hold me down, to make me... there's just so many great songs inside of Pinocchio that most people kind of forget about. Things like that. Give a little whistle. Give a little whistle. Hi, diddly dee, an actor's life for me. Pinocchio, a 1940 classic with so many amazing songs from start to finish. It is just one of those films that you just can't help but love. However, modern movies too have soundtracks that you just can't help but love. And this one from about 10 years ago is another soundtrack that I just could not stop listening to as soon as it came out. So, there's a line where the sky meets the sea and it calls me. Moana. Moana has so many classic songs as well. So even though it is not a classic as in 1940s, it is also a modern classic because it has so many songs like, well, come to think of it, kid, honestly, I could go on and on. I could explain every natural phenomenon. The tide, the grass, the ground. That was Maui just messing around. I killed an eel. I buried its guts. Sprouted a tree. Now you got coconuts. What's the lesson? What is the takeaway? Don't mess with Maui when he's on a break wave. And the tapestry here on my skin is a map of the victories I win. Look where I've been. I make everything happen. Look a little minute tippity tap, 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 tap. Hey, what can I say except you're welcome? And then, of course, we've got things like How Far I'll Go. And one of the most beautiful songs that's only like 30 seconds long in an entire film is when she is going, I have crossed the entire sea to find you. Oh, no, no. When she's like walking through the lava lady. I know where you are, who you are. Anyways, I'm still riding the high. Thank you. That's I practiced a long time to get the rap down for You're Welcome. So fun fact, before we go to our vote here, I did a Disney cruise about 7 years ago-ish. I want to say it was 7 years ago. And I was with a family who I barely knew, and we went to karaoke. We were like, oh, karaoke would be fun. And it was family karaoke. And so I try to convince everyone like, oh, we should all go up and sing different songs. Like we should all sign up for karaoke. And everyone was like, oh, we just want to sit here and watch other people do it. I was like, okay, well, I'm going to sing You're Welcome because I know how to do the rap. And then it ends up that I was the only person who was above the age of 10 who went up there. And the first person like, okay, what are you going to sing? I'm going to sing Part of Your World from Little Mermaid. And then the little girl sang Part of Your World. And then they're like, okay, next person, little Susie, I'm going to sing Part of Your World from Little Mermaid. Okay, she sang Little Part of Your World. And then the next guy, little Jennifer, I'm going to sing Part of Your World from Little Mermaid. Okay. And then they're like, 30-some-year-old dude, what are you singing? I'm singing You're Welcome from Moana. Do you know the rap? I do know the rap. Okay, come on up. And then there was like 7 more kids who sang Part of Your World. Literally, it was like every single person sang Part of Your World except for me and one other little girl who sang some other song. But that's besides the point, because we are now going to our vote. It is either Pinocchio or Moana. Which one do you want to have move on to the Elite Eight? You've got 90 seconds to throw your votes in, starting right now. I know who you are. I do like the Moana soundtrack a lot. this is gonna be a close one. This is gonna be closer than I thought. I'm looking at the things on Facebook and on YouTube, and your vote's gonna count, people. So if you are one of those people who has been watching and not voting, I highly recommend hopping into the chat room and voting for which one you want to move on, because you guys can't see both Facebook and YouTube. But if you see Facebook and YouTube coming through, it's very, very, very close right now on which soundtrack will be moving on. Oh wait, no, it might be a favorite for one of them. Okay, we're going to give you about 15 more seconds to throw your votes in if you are one of those people. We do have a lot of people who are also watching right now and not voting. So if you're one of those people watching on either Facebook or YouTube and you're watching, you're like, oh man, I can't believe that like Coco won. I didn't want Coco to win. Wait, Coco won, right? Yeah, what did Coco beat? I can't believe Coco beat DuckTales. And then they're crying about how DuckTales didn't win. Well, that's because he didn't vote. So throw your votes in. Okay, let's get to it. We got 1 vote for Moana, 2 votes for Moana, 2-1 Pinocchio. My vote is for Pinocchio just because I like all the songs. The song Shiny, I did not like the song Shiny, but it has grown on me throughout the years. I will say that. But right now it is a 2-2 vote, 3-2 vote, 4-2 vote, 5-2 vote, 6-2 vote, 6-3, 7-3, 7-4, 7-4. And Moana is moving on to our next round here. Bum-ba-dum, bum-ba-dum-bum-bum. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Elite Eight. Now, if you are just joining us, because we do have a lot of people who just joined us right now, what we are doing is we're continuing our... Okay, let's write that down so I don't forget. We are continuing our Disney bracket series. We have gone from 64 soundtracks of Disney, and we've dwindled it down to only 8. And right now, we're going to put some of those 8 into the final 4 based off of your votes. So in order to do that, I need 2 numbers. The first 2 random numbers to pop up into the chat room between the numbers of 1 and 8 are going to be going head-to-head against each other to become our first ones to actually enter into the final 4. Bum-ba-da-dum, bum-ba-da-dum-bum-bum. We got 1 for 5 and 1 for 8. 5 and 8 are going to be going head-to-head against each other to start off this battle into the final 4. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. Oh, this is tough, people. You guys really do make this tough. I hope you understand. What are you doing? Oh, I see what's going on. Nope. There we go. Okay. So our first one is going to consist of one movie that we've already talked about this evening. So we're not going to go into too much detail about it against one movie that you guys threw in a previous episode. So let's start off with Princess and the Frog. The evening star is shining bright. So make a wish and hold on tight. There's magic in the air tonight, and anything can happen. Princess and the Frog, as we talked about, is a 2009 classic Disney film. It is filled with so many amazing songs like Gotta Dig a Little Deeper, Find Out Who You Are. And then, of course, no, that's the only song. No. And I'm almost there. Almost there. Some people say I'm crazy, but I don't care. And then, of course, Down in New Orleans is just a great song as well. Going up against Princess and the Frog is ironically a movie that was directed by the same people who directed Princess and the Frog, but they directed it 17 years earlier. That's right. Make way for Prince Ali. Make way for Prince Ali. Aladdin. Aladdin is filled with so many classic numbers like A Whole New World, a new fantastic point of view. No one to tell us no, or where to go, or say we're only dreaming. We also have You've Never Had a Friend, Never Had a Friend. I said never had a friend, never had a friend, never had a friend like me. Wow. And then, of course, a lot of other classic songs. Things like One Jump, gotta keep one jump ahead of the bread line, 1-3 ahead of the clock. I think I'll take a stroll around the block. Anyways, that is going to bring us to our first vote to get into the Elite Eight. You guys are voting for either Princess the Frog or Aladdin. Which one do you want to have out of the Elite Eight and into the Final Four to live in glory for the rest of its days as the greatest Disney soundtrack of all time? You guys have 90 seconds to throw your votes out there. I feel like this vote is going to be very close. Like, I think this one's going to come down to the wire. I think this is going to, I'm looking at, maybe not. Maybe not. This might be a runaway. Holy cow. I'm looking at the votes on Facebook. I'm looking at the votes on YouTube. It's kind of even, but it's not as even as I thought it was going to be. Oh, this is going to be a close one, guys. All right, we just had a huge surge of people who came in here. If you're one of those people who came in here just now, we are going through and trying to figure out what the best Disney soundtrack of all time is. We are right now going from the Elite Eight into the Final Four. You guys are trying to make the decision on what goes on into the Final Four. Is it Princess and the Frog or is it Aladdin? You guys have about 15 seconds left to throw your votes in. Oh, man. And we got one vote for Princess the Frog, one for Aladdin. 2 for Princess the Frog, 2 for Aladdin. Right now, there's a 2-2 vote. 3-2, Aladdin's now in the lead. 4-2, 5-2, 6-2, 7-2, 7-3, 8-3, 9-3. And we have about 15 people now that are watching that did not vote. Shame on you. Aladdin is moving on to the next round. I am kind of amazed because I love the Aladdin soundtrack. I really, really love the Aladdin soundtrack, but I do feel like Princess and the Frog is a better soundtrack in my personal opinion. But it's not based off me. It's based off your votes. Speaking of votes, I need 2 numbers between the numbers of 1 and 6 now to figure out what you want to have move on to the Elite Eight. What is going to be going head-to-head against each other to try to get into the Final Four? It's Aladdin, the animated. 5 and 5 is going against each other. No. Right now we got one number out. 5, number 5. 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. I'm checked out. You only get your ears checked. I mean, to be fair, I'm glad that if Princess and the Frog is going to go fall by the 5 against 6, if Princess and the Frog is going to fall by the wayside, or any of these amazing soundtracks going to fall by the wayside, I would hope that would be from a really good soundtrack like Aladdin, opposed to like Lester's Possum Park from Goofy Movie. Oh, the Goofy Movie, the overall Goofy Movies just has a great soundtrack too. Okay. This is a matchup. Wow, you guys are really brutal. All right, randomly, you guys said those 2 are going to head against each other. These are 2 that we did not talk about yet tonight, so let's talk a little bit about both of them. Starting us off. Tale as old as time, true as it can be, barely even friends, then somebody bends unexpectedly. Beauty and the Beast. Beauty and the Beast is filled with so many classic songs from the very first time of us seeing Belle with Little Town, It's a Quiet Village, Every Day like the one before, to Be Our Guest, Be Our Guest, put our service to the test, try the gray stuff, it's delicious, don't believe me, ask the dishes, they can sing, they can dance, after all, this is France. And then, of course, no one spits like Gaston, but there are a lot of songs in Beauty and the Beast that just completely take the world by storm. I love Beauty and the Beast. I love the soundtrack. If it was not for the soundtrack, I don't know if the movie would be as successful as it is. However, going up against Beauty and the Beast is something very unique. It is probably our most unique soundtrack that is left in the Elite Eight. And part of it is Beauty and the Beast themed. Close your eyes for a second. Now, you're walking up to the Magic Kingdom, or you're walking up to Disneyland. And while you're walking up, off in the distance, you hear a train whistle. Burr, burr. You hear some people arguing about, how they did buy tickets today and how dare they not let them into the park. That happens way too often. You can hear the laughter of children, people excited. But over all of those sounds that are going on in the background, we have instrumental songs playing, helping transport you from the real world to the real world, aka my world. And here, while you walk in, you can hear instrumental songs of bum 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 ba-dum bum ba-dum bum ba-dum ba-dum, or ba-dum 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 ba-dum. The instrumental music that transports guests into the Disney parks in the Disneyland Esplanade or at the entrance of Main Street USA help bridge the gap of taking you from the outside world into a whole new world, if you will, Aladdin, and having it so you are transported into the park with the sounds, the smells, the tastes, and everything else in between that the Disney parks bring us. The music is all taken from classic Disney songs, but at the same time has a nice musical, simple charm about it that helps transport you into this magical world that is the Magic Kingdom or Disneyland Park. And that brings us to our next vote. What would you like to have move on to our next round? Is it the Beauty and the Beast soundtrack or the Disney Park entrance soundtrack? You've got 90 seconds to throw your votes on. I think I know what's going to win, but at the same time, I would not be surprised if either one of these wins. I really would not. Because I do know that we have a lot of Parks fans that are here. But at the same time, I know that we have a lot of Beauty and the Beast fans that are here. Bum, bum, bum. Course by course. One by one. Till you shout, enough, I'm done. And then we sing you off to sleep as you digest. Beauty and the Beast is a great soundtrack. If Beauty and the Beast moves on, I'm not going to be sad at all. You got about 45 seconds left to throw your votes in. We also have a lot of more people who just joined us. If you're one of those people joining us right now, we are trying to figure out what you think the best Disney soundtrack of all time is. We are slowly going through and throwing your votes into to try to help things go into the next round. Right now, we're trying to get into the final four, where it is Beauty and the Beast versus the Disney Park entrance. And let's go through and figure out what you voted for. We have one for Beauty and the Beast. Beauty and the Beast, Park entrance, 2-2 right now. 3-2, Beauty and the Beast is in lead. 4-2, Beauty and the Beast, but I love the Park soundtrack. I do too. 4-3, 5-3, 6-3, 7-3, 8-3, 9-3, 10-3, and we do have some people who are still not voting. But at the same time, that doesn't matter because Beauty and the Beast has moved on to our final four. Beauty and the Beast. Okay. It is time for us to have another number between 1 and 4. This is going to help determine the next two matchups to get into the final four. This is insane that we're getting this far down. We started this battle months ago, and here we are about to get to the end. Number 2 against number 3 will be going against each other. Then number 4 and number 1 will be going against each other right after that. So 3. Okay, let's see here. That one and then that one versus that one. Okay. Let's do our first matchup between the two. Well, come to think of it, kid, honestly, I could go on and on. I can explain every natural phenomenon. The tide, the grass, the ground. Ah, that was Maui just messing around. I killed an eel. I buried its guts. Sprouted in a tree, now got coconuts. What's the lesson? What is the takeaway? Don't mess with Maui when he's on a breakaway. At the tapestry here on my skin is a map of the victory I win. But, okay, we already did the rap earlier, but at the same time, I just like doing the rap. Moana, which you guys have already talked about earlier this evening, but Moana is from the 2010s and has so many classic Disney songs in it, including things like How Far I'll Go, You're Welcome, Shiny. Who said Shiny earlier that they hated it? But wait, what did Moana just beat? I can't even remember. Oh, beat Pinocchio. Barely beat Pinocchio too. But that was the one vote off vote. But Moana is filled with so many classic songs that just help you figure out how far you can go. Going up against Moana is the only movie that's left that we have not talked about this evening. So let's talk a little bit about it. Winds in the east, mist coming in, like something is brewing, about to begin. Mary Poppins. Mary Poppins is one of those soundtracks that, what's like the right way to describe it? I can't think of the right supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. It's the only word that you can say when you don't know what else to say. It's supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, even though the sound of it is something quite atrocious. If you say it loud. We all know supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, but we also have chim chimney, chim chimney, chim chim chiree. When you're with a sweep, you're in glad company. Also the winner of the best song for the Academy Award that year. Then in addition to that, we've got things like step in time, step in time, step in time, step in time, never need a reason, never need a rhyme. And then of course, Sister Suffragette, me, Sister Suffragette. We've got a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down, the medicine go down, medicine go down. And of course, Walt Disney's personal favorite song of all time, feed the birds, tuppence a bag. I can't say that. We are going to go to you guys. Which one do you want to move on to the final four? Is it Moana? Or is it Mary Poppins? Throw your votes in starting right now. We got 90 seconds to vote. Moana or Mary Poppins? Early each day on the steps of St. Paul, the little old bird woman crawls in her own special way. Ba-dum-bum-bum-bum-bum. Come buy my bags full of crumbs. I mean, both of these soundtracks are great soundtracks. You can't deny that either one of them great soundtracks. We guys have about 15 seconds left to throw your votes in. Oh, I'm so excited about what's about to happen because you guys are about to have things thrown at you that you're not going to be fully expecting here. Yeah, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This is going to be a closer vote than I thought it was going to be. 1 for Mary Poppins, 2 for Mary Poppins, 3 for Mary Poppins, 3-1, 4-1, 5-1, 5-2, 5-3, 6-3, 7-3, 8-3, 9-3, 10-3, 10-4, 10-4, buddy. Mary Poppins is going to be moving on to our next round here. Wow. Mary Poppins is in our final four. Oh, wait. Final vote of the evening to get us into the final four. Let's get to it. We have actually talked about both of these films tonight, so we're going to go through a shorter abridged version of the movies. But we also have, starting off, Coco with Remember Me. Though I hate to say goodbye, remember me. Don't mean to make you cry, and even if you're far away, you know the song. Going up against Coco and Un Poco Loco and so many other classic songs in Coco, we have The Little Mermaid with Look at This Stuff, Isn't It Neat? Wouldn't you think my collection's complete? Wouldn't you think I'm the girl who has everything? Oh, wait. And then, of course, we have got Under the Sea. Under the sea, darling, it's better. Down where it's wetter, take it from me. Ba-dum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum. All right, so you guys have about 90 seconds to throw your vote in. Which one do you want to have move on to our next round? Is it Coco or is it The Little Mermaid? You've got 90 seconds to throw your votes in, starting right now. This is going to be wrapping up our final four. What's going to the final four? I don't know. I really don't know. I feel like it's going to be The Little Mermaid, but at the same time, I do know people love Coco, and I feel like Coco has a shot at sneaking in there into the final four spot. I think it's going to be very, very tight. Very, very close one. Maybe not as close as I think, now that I see all the votes coming through. I mean, both of these are just great soundtracks. You guys have about 20 seconds left to throw your votes in. Make your vote count, people. Up on the shore they slave away, down where it's wetter, down where it's better, take it from me. Okay, let's go through. Let's get our votes here. We got 1 for Little Mermaid, 2 for Little Mermaid, 3 for Little Mermaid, 3-1 right now. Little Mermaid in the lead. 4-3. I'm sorry, 4-1. Wait, I confused myself. 1, 2, 3, 3-1, 4-1, 4-2, 5-2, 6-2, 7-2, 8-2, 9-2, 10-2, 10-3, 11-3, 12-3. Little Mermaid is moving on to the next round. Ooh. Ladies and gentlemen, we have our final four. Okay. So this is how this is going to work. Because what we could do is we could wrap this up right now, or we could make things a little bit more interesting. And you know me, I like to make things a little bit more interesting. So we are going to end right here for now, but let me explain how things are about to go down, because things are about to get crazy next week when we wrap up our bracket series for what is the best Disney soundtrack of all time. Before we get to that, let's take a little walk down memory road, because here are our final four contestants. Starting us off, The Little Mermaid. What is the road that The Little Mermaid took to get to where it is today? So The Little Mermaid started off, I'm trying to find it, started off by going against the Swiss Family Robinson Treehouse. And then she took down Hercules, where she showed that she was the one who could truly go the distance. Then The Little Mermaid went off against Mickey's PhilharMagic, bringing down her own song inside that attraction, and then finally beating out Coco to get into the final four. Then, of course, we have Aladdin, the scrappy little boy who could. Aladdin started off his journey. Where's his journey started? Where is he? Oh, He started off by taking down The Rocketeer, one of the greatest soundtracks of all time, in my personal opinion. But at the same time, he won, and fair and square. Then he took down a little girl along with an alien in Lilo and Stitch's soundtrack, and then eventually he would go on to take down Encanto in round 3, and then in the Elite 8, he would beat out the Princess and the Frog to get into our final four. Going into this tournament, we've got some beauties, we've got some beasts, but when you put it together, we got the Beauty and the Beast soundtrack, took down the Casey's Corner Piano in the very first round in a shocking upset that actually was very, very close. Then Beauty and the Beast went head-to-head against another beast in the 1990s, the one and only Lion King, which it took down to go on to our next round. After it took down the Lion King, oh my gosh, I just lost my whole thing. After it took down the Lion King, Beauty and the Beast would go up against another powerhouse in the form of Tarzan, and once again go on to the Elite 8. Then Beauty and the Beast would take down the Disney Parks entrance music to finally find its spot in our final four. And of course, we have a little nanny who just knew how to make everything practically perfect in every way. Mary Poppins started off in the first round by going head-to-head against, where is it at? Where is it at? Please hold. Oh, it took down the Fantasyland soundtrack, which is a great soundtrack, and it actually features Feed the Birds, tuppence a bag. After Mary Poppins took down an entire land, then she went off to go take down another land in the form of Critter Country, now Bayou Country. That was Critter Country when we actually started this entire thing. And then after that, Mary Poppins would take down the Aristocats, and actually Mary Poppins had a pretty easy way to the Elite Eight, where Mary Poppins would go down and take down Moana to get into the Final Four. And that brings us to our Final Four. The Little Mermaid, Aladdin, Mary Poppins, and Beauty and the Beast. Now, the surprises aren't done right here, because next week we're going to be coming back. We're going to have it so we're going to do our Final Four, but there's going to be a twist that you guys don't even know about. I'm so excited because I've been planning this twist since the very start of this entire competition. And when I tell you the twist next week, you are going to be blown away, because it doesn't come down to the final tournament. Yes, we have more elements in this tournament, in this bracket, than you ever dreamed possible. So make sure you guys join us next Wednesday, 9:30 Eastern Time, for the conclusion of our bracket series. Who will win? Will it be, I have to pull up the four that we have again. Will it be The Little Mermaid, Aladdin, Mary Poppins, or Beauty and the Beast? All four of them are amazing soundtracks. Only one of them is going to be crowned a winner. And then we got a little bonus in there for you. So make sure you join us next week at 9:30 Eastern Time, because your vote will help decide what the best Disney soundtrack of all time is. But as always, tonight's episode is sponsored by the one, the only Patreon pals. If you're one of our Patreon pals out there in the chat room right now, give us an oh yeah. Thank you, our Patreon pals, for being the sponsors of every episode here. Thank you, everyone out there, for joining us once again this week. As always, if you're not already subscribed to this channel, make sure you subscribe. If you did not know, we do have a new book out called A Closer Look at the Animal Kingdom's Dinoland USA. It's 160-some pages of fun facts, details, history, stories, and a whole lot more about this soon-to-be extinct land. So get it before the land goes extinct, so you can actually enjoy the land in all of its glory while it still kind of exists. We do not have part of the book around anymore, but that does not mean that we cannot still enjoy it. Thank you, everyone out there, for joining us. I hope everyone out there has a great week. As always, remember that anything can happen if you let it. Until next time, have a great week, everybody. Happy Easter if you celebrate. Bye-bye. Bye-bye now. Goodbye. Goodbye now. Bye-bye. Goodbye now. Are they gone? Are they gone? Oh, good. My cheeks are just killing me. I can't